They have the Belt and Road Initiative. They have the Global Development Initiative. The Chinese are very ambitious when it comes to projecting their influence and their power all around the world.
I think that any initiatives that are oriented toward economic development and peaceful exchange are good ones. Hungary views China not as a threat, but as an opportunity.
I mean, I think the main contribution China makes is that it's really kind of maintaining stable governance in its region. And that's important when there's so much uncertainty elsewhere in the world.
As China's annual 2 sessions are underway, global focus shifts to Beijing. President Xi Jinping's vision of fostering a global community of shared future and advancing win-win cooperation guides China's 3 key global initiatives: the Global Development Initiative, the Global Security Initiative, and the Global Civilization Initiative. But how do these initiatives resonate with the world?
There are places where China's message is more palatable and powerful, and countries do listen. I mean, I think that most understand that China's approach has been extremely unique and specific.
They may resonate with many countries around the world, especially countries in the global south, because China is interested in winning friends and influencing people around the world. And from China's point of view, this is wonderful. And for many countries on the planet, getting assistance from China is a positive thing. But from an American point of view, this is not a good thing, because the Americans want to reduce Chinese influence around the world. They don't want to see it increase.
Obviously, America is not happy with China having a dominant or increasingly dominant space.
Having grown up in the United States, I know why that mentality exists, because for a while the U.S. was the only player, and so it feels that any development elsewhere is a threat to it. But it seems that China has a different view of this, that there can be shared development. We have to push back against this idea that there's a zero-sum mentality in the world, that the benefit of one always comes at the expense of the other.
China, meanwhile, actively engages in multilateralism and supports a multipolar world order to address global challenges and promote cooperation.
This is natural. China should have some kind of global kind of role. I mean, why should it be maintained, restrained in a kind of hole that's been made for it? This isn't very fair. So I think that it's natural that China is trying to create, its own kinds of networks, and the AIIB, things like this, the Belt and Road Initiative. I mean, these are all kind of trying to promote multilateralism with Chinese characteristics. And I think that the West, can't really stop that. What right does the West have to say China can't do that? It can work with China, or it can choose not to, but it can't stop China doing this.
19th century was the century of European imperialism, the European century. 20th century was the century of American dominance. This century is the Asian century, but it's also the multipolar century. And we have 2 most important nations, United States and China. We need to bring together all these nations in new forms, and particularly we need to improve the relations between China and the US, because if the main powers of the world work together, it will be so much stronger to solve the key issues of the day.
As the 2 sessions progress and China's global initiatives continue to shape the contours of the 21st century world, what Professor Kerry Brown says could offer valuable insights into the nuanced understanding of China's modern complexities.
I encourage people to keep an open mind. Most of what's written in the media about China, contemporary China, is not that satisfying. I mean, it's sort of like broadly either about the economy or about China being a threat. I don't think that captures the complexity of what modern China is.